T.D. Ryan Unleashed is brought to you by Scott Diamond, your State Farm Insurance Agent, Pizza Villa in DeKalb, Elder Care Services of DeKalb County, The Junction Eating Place in DeKalb, and my insurance guy, Mike DeVito in Sycamore.
And welcome to TD Ryan Podcast, TD Ryan Unleashed Podcast Newscast number 6. Joining us as always like a mighty oak tree over there in the corner is Dan Lynch, the newsman. Dan, how you doing, my friend?
It's my anniversary, 15 years to the old ball and chain, TD.
Oh, you didn't say that. I know that. Well, we'll cut that part out. But thank you, Dan.
I'm good.
We always appreciate you bringing us the news, and we're honored to have a special guest with us for Second Ward Alderman Barb Larson is joining us today. Barb, how are you doing, my dear?
Fine. How are you on this nice warm day?
I am doing great. Thank you so much. We're in the bowels of the DeKalb Library. We always want to thank the DeKalb Library for allowing us to be here. And Barb, just one of the wonderful things we have here in DeKalb is a beautiful new library.
With air conditioning.
With air conditioning.
Always lovely. Always lovely. Yes, they are so generous for their space and time for all of the city events.
We're anxious to talk to you about running for re-election and how you did that. And again, I was so moved by this, but not moved, but impressed by the fact that so often politicians talk in generalities, want to do this, basically you want to do that. But in your last campaign, you itemized all the things that you've done to help your second ward, and we're going to talk about that as well, okay? But looking forward to that. And of course, Larson's Farm. I was not aware of Larson's Farm. You guys produce a lot, don't you? What is it, roughly, how many, almost a million bushels of corn every year?
We do, but that's quite a few families. It's not just...
Oh, that's right. You're a consortium, yes.
Well, it's Norm's parents and then his generation and the next generation and a lot of full-time employees. So there's probably about 7 or 8 families that are supported, and that's their full-time job.
Yeah, I want to ask you about that, especially the two gentlemen that, was it the deal? Are they brothers that have been working there, 70 years combined?
Dave Deal just retired.
Okay.
January or February last year, so he's not with us anymore. But yeah, his brother is still there, and we've had quite a few deals that were for us over the years.
Quite a few good deals. That's great. All right, but right now, Dan's going to share a little news with us. Dan, what do you got there, my friend?
Well, this is sad, very sad. One man is dead. This is in Rochelle after he and a fellow skydiver collided in midair above Rochelle Airport. The Ogle County Sheriff's Office reports on the evening of July 9th, just before 7, the Sheriff's Office responded to a report of a skydiving incident involving an uncontrolled descent. So deputies located a male in the parking lot. He had suffered major injuries. He was taken to Rochelle Community Hospital, and the 40-year-old was pronounced dead at that location. The second skydiver involved was found in a field at Rochelle Municipal Airport, also taken to RCH with the second diver with minor injuries. Preliminary investigation indicates the two collided in midair, resulting in their what they refer to as a canopy collapse for both. Reserve parachutes were deployed, but the collision led to the uncontrolled descent of one skydiver, and it's still being investigated.
Wow, that is amazing. I don't know, Barb, have you ever been out to the restaurant out there? There's a restaurant out there in Rochelle that you can watch the skydivers coming down, if ever you had a chance to do that.
I watched my daughter come down.
Oh, my gosh.
Yes, she bravely did that. So, yes, she was one of the divers.
Tell us about that. Now, was it just be a one-time thing? Was she kind of prodded by her friends to do it, or how did that happen?
It was a one-time thing. She and her friend just happened to go for drinks one night and started talking to the person next to them, and was a skydiving instructor at Rochelle, and said, "You should come out sometime." And they both looked at each other and go, "I do that." And they both did.
Wow.
They both completed their dive, and thought it was the greatest thing ever.
And the greatest question, of course, is do they want to do it again?
They haven't. I'll just leave it at that.
Leave it at that. All right, fair enough. All right,
they did it once. I'm impressed with that. So.
Yeah. And of course, our thoughts and prayers are with both families, and we wish them the very best. What else you got, Dan?
An Oswego man was found sleeping in his running car while stopped at a stop sign. This was on Pleasant Street in DeKalb. He also had a loaded pistol.
Oh, my.
Sitting in the front passenger seat. According to arrest documents, on June 30th at around 3:45 a.m., an Infiniti FX35, which I think is an SUV actually, was stopped at the stop sign facing west near 1100 Pleasant. Police say the driver was slumped over the steering wheel with his foot on the brake. Now 29-year-old Tony Strouder is charged with possession of a gun and ammo by a felon, aggravated unlawful use of a weapon, 2 counts of DUI alcohol, and having no FOID.
Wow.
His previous conviction was 3 years ago in Cook County when he was charged with unlawful use of a weapon.
You know, Barbara, we have Chief Byrd in here on a monthly basis, and we talk about the things like this. And inevitably, it seems like when we hear these stories, they're a felon, and they always seem to have a gun in the car when they get pulled over. Do you notice that, how often that happens?
Well, I think I listened to some of your podcast about old adages, and like criminals are not always the smartest person.
Right, that's right.
So, you know, they make poor choices a lot of places along their life. So, yes, having a loaded, illegal gun next to them is just another choice.
Yeah, again, and then unfortunately, they will suffer the consequences. You know, on a I guess a lighter note, if you would, back in Delavan, my brother had a bar up there, and we used to be concerned about people leaving, and one gentleman left, and of course he had a six-pack in his car, and he opens a beer to drive home, and he got stopped by the train. So of course he puts the car in park, falls asleep with the beer in his lap, and of course police arrest
Open
that.
container,
And like you
the whole
said,
thing.
yeah, the whole thing. And just like he just asked for it right there.
Yeah,
See,
yeah.
so you get what you pay for there too, and that kind of relates to this story here, as in the Chronicle last week about. Certain drug sales up in smoke in DeKalb City okays the ban. No vape vending, unregulated THC. Cartome, I was telling Dan, I never knew what that was. But were you aware of this, Barbara, that there I guess were some stores selling this? I guess there's no vape vending machines in DeKalb, but
No.
there were some people selling these products, right?
Right. Well, I hadn't known about all these different things because, and actually, there's a loophole by an agricultural bill because back in World War II, we grew hemp
Right.
big time in DeKalb County for the war effort. And now there's still an ability to grow hemp, but it's not for human consumption. But it does have a lot of the same qualities as cannabis.
Is that right?
And right, and so you can get high from it. It takes a little more, you know,
Well, quantity, I guess.
quantity.
Yeah,
Yes. to
okay.
get- So, anyways, but so we're like, if we have dispensaries that are totally regulated by the state, so anybody who wants to use cannabis either for enjoyment or for pain, they can go to the dispensaries, get a totally regulated, safe. They know exactly from seed to sale where that's been, and there's no herbicides, insecticides, fertilizers, anything that's not for human consumption. This other stuff is being sold in like glass jars in a gas station where they literally put their hand in, pull out some, weigh it, and then you're on your way.
Is that right? Now, is there
Regulation.
No regulation.
No regulation.
No regulation, no. Okay, so this was a no-brainer then to vote this down.
Yes, and then that kratom, it's actually a leaf from Southeast Asia, and a lot of people use it to get off opioids, but it has a lot of the same qualities as opioids. So to me, anything that has that strong of a side effect
Right.
or a regular effect, it needs to be regulated. It can't be sold just over the counter at a gas station.
No.
So, you know, maybe it needs to be as something that people can get off opioid addiction. But it has to go through doctors and regulations. We can't just have it selling anywhere in DeKalb.
Yeah, I was thinking about methadone. You'll have to remember that, Dan, when with the heroin users, they try to give them methadone and to ease them off. But that was regulated.
Through doctors and yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's where we're like, because everyone says, you don't realize how great this is. I said, the more you tell me how great and strong and powerful it is, the more I'm saying it needs to be regulated. Don't talk to me, start talking to the state and the feds to get some kind of regulation for this.
Yeah, very good. And while we're on that subject now, we're getting Exaleaf here, one of our two legal marijuana distributors here in DeKalb. We're asking for ability to have an edible tasting room, much like you have wine tasting and beer tasting in other establishments. How did you vote on that, and why did you vote that way?
I voted yes, and I voted yes because we were talking before we kind of went on the air here that I just had spine surgery because I had chronic pain. And I tried different cannabis products through my kids. They were through dispensaries, but I had no idea how it would affect me because I didn't want to go for the high. I wanted pain reduction.
Right.
So there was a few times where I was almost like, I think we need to call 911. This is way stronger than I thought it would be. But if I had a tasting room that's run by
Nurses
that I deal with pain management and a doctor and stuff, that they could say, well, try this because it'll relieve your pain, but you can still function. I would have been like, this is so great. And I don't have to pay $150 for a whole, 10 or 15 that I might not be able to use.
Right.
So to me, I don't look at it as like, that's where I'm going to go instead of a bar. To me, it's like I can personalize what I would need for pain management. So that's why I voted for it.
Well, that's a great answer. Well, thank you for that, Barb. Dan, what else you got there, my friend?
Well, let's go to this. A peace walk and rally is set for tomorrow evening to respond to recent gun violence in DeKalb. The event will begin at NIU parking lot X and then proceed through the Annie Glen North neighborhood and then return to the starting point. So the gathering is supported by New Hope Missionary Baptist Church, City of DeKalb, and NIU Police and Public Safety.
Makes me think of Father Flager in Chicago. We've seen that they have a lot of marches like that. And what do you think about that, Barbara?
Whenever anybody gets out and supports, and to me makes it more of a neighborhood rather than just a bunch of strangers living together, that's always positive. But so many of these people who we're arresting for different things, they don't live here. Mm-hmm. And that's the problem being so close to Chicago. Either they're come visiting or whatever. And so
we often see that, don't we? But they have a different agenda, completely different agenda when they show up.
It's not their home. So they don't really care, what they do here. And thankfully with our license plate readers, a lot of those we're catching before they even can do anything illegal when they get here. And we're becoming known for, if your license plate's dirty, it has a felony attached to it, don't even go to DeKalb because they'll catch you.
Now, that was controversial at the time when they suggested that. A lot of people felt like Big Brother were watching and everything. But I always explain to people, too, you go through the tollway, they're going to take a picture of your license plate the whole time anyway. Yeah. So this is and it's been a great deterrent, hasn't it?
It has been a great deterrent. And it immediately attaches not just to DeKalb, but all the other municipalities in the city that are in the state that have it. So like Bloomington, Chicago, Champaign, immediately every police officer is like, we're looking for this car and exactly where it was at what time. So it makes everybody's in the police force easier, their job.
We had DeKalb Mayor Burns on the show here, and he was telling us that 60% of the police calls go to 10% of the area in DeKalb. And it's very sad to hear that, but how can we start to make that better, Barb?
Well, and I did listen to what Mayor Barnes said. The city's invested a lot of money and time to clean up, to make it, we had places that were selling individual cigarettes as well as drugs and everything. Those places are gone. It's a green belt now. Eventually, we hope to develop it, but until we get a good development, we're not just throwing anything up there. We have to get
well, now we have the fraternity, right? The fraternity organization will build their building there, and that's a great start.
That's a great start. That's a great, to try to get more fraternities and back, because I went to Northern, and that's where I lived. I lived in Greenbrier and Russell and Kimberly. So, and I used to work at the Junction and walk home at 3:00 in the morning.
Oh my gosh.
I know. So we can get back to that, but it takes, we didn't get here overnight and we can't get away from it overnight, but if the city keeps working to get landlords that really care about not just having anybody there to pay any kind of rent and the crime-free housing and all, it's all adds up to that it's going to be a safer spot. Now we're going to have that new elementary school there. Mm-hmm. So we're trying, and the way we cut off like Kimberly and different things, so they're not through streets, they're little individual neighborhoods. We're hoping that all makes it so there's less crime.
All right, good answer. Very good. All right, Dan, what else you got there, my friend?
Well, let's stay in the neighborhood. Varsity Boulevard, Cook County man arrested. Cook County man.
Cook County,
all right, there you go.
There you go, not Cook County.
Traffic stop on Varsity, July 3rd, 11:15 p.m. DeKalb police pulled over a vehicle where the driver had a suspended license. Now, according to police, while they were searching the car, the passenger in the car refused to give his name. He then asked officers if he could leave. Officers said yes, and then he sprinted off. Police then found a gun under the front seat,
Here we go with the gun again.
chased him down. 22-year-old Dion Sanders of Chicago, now charged with aggravated unlawful use of a weapon, possession of a gun and ammo without a FOID, and resisting arrest. So actually, I have a solution. That walk, the Peace Walk rally,
Right.
they should have that at 11:15 p.m. at night.
That would be very symbolic. It really would.
Well.
I mean, but it's sad that you
would be
can't.
inconvenient.
But I guess but you
Right.
can't even propose doing that. That's sad. I can't believe you used to walk from the junction back
I
to your
know.
house back in the day.
Back in the day.
That's
Well,
amazing.
in the 90s, I remember walking down Varsity because my friends had an apartment there. And we were the bad guys. I mean, we were, killing a few beers. Anyway.
Yeah, well, things have changed. Well, like I said, now, Barb, I was so impressed by this. Now, you ran against Mike Embry, kind of late getting in there. And what was it? Was it good for you, you think, that you had somebody challenge you in this last election?
I don't know that it changed anything I would say or do.
Okay.
I think I've always been out there for the second ward and basically anybody. It's just a lot of times I'll get a call. I'm not sure if you're my alderwoman, but could you help? And I'll at least start the ball rolling. And if I'm not, I'll connect them to who is and who in the city they need to talk to. So yeah, but it's always, it made me more motivated to get out and ring a few more doorbells.
That's great. That's great. Well, let's talk about some of the things you accomplished. Again, some of these are little, but I think it's great. Like the first one is help the mother find a safer route for her high school age daughter. Commute. Now tell us about that, because was she worried about her commute? And
Well, actually, so that was my first time I ran, and I was just ringing doorbells prior to my first election, and the mom was concerned, and it was in Tilton Park to the new high school. And so we got talking, so I just started reaching out and found out how far away the school bus has to be and stuff like that. And I really couldn't help her, but at least I could give her the information as to why there wasn't bus service because she technically was within walking distance of the high school. But I got
Okay.
back to her. In fact, every time I walk, I keep a notebook with me. So if I ring a doorbell and they have a particular question, I'll write down their address, their name, their phone number, and I'll get something for them.
I like that. All right, let's do a couple quick ones here. Provide Joanne Lane residents with updates on sewer, water lines, and repaving projects. Work with ComEd to replace deteriorating concrete light poles in River Mist as well.
That was probably my first year, and beautiful, really kind of old-fashioned light posts, but they were big chunks of concrete were coming out, and they were worried, will they just fall over? So
how did you get the ball rolling? Then you went to the city and
well, the city basically said they're put up by ComEd, but they gave me the person to call and talk to, and so yeah, just worked it out.
Okay.
Yeah, and just recently, then there was the light over Cats Park this time, and somebody calls it that dog park. It's pitch dark, and you can't see it. My husband and I drove out there the one night. I'm like, yeah, I can't even see where you turn in. So called, and it was just an error where it had been reported as fixed, and it wasn't.
okay.
So then, like the next day, so I looked fabulous, but it was just basically just calling to say it really wasn't fixed.
Just got to rattle some cages there.
Right.
Now, Dan, you live over by the old high school over there. Now, you said partnered with city staff to install slow children signs to add to a sidewalk in Buena Vista. Now, how about wherever you are, Dan? Do people go speeding down Bar Boulevard there where you live? Does it concern you?
Yeah, but it's not. It doesn't happen that often.
Okay.
Actually.
I had a neighbor on 9th Street that used to spray a hose when people would go speeding down the street. He'd spray his hose at them. I was like, not a pretty dangerous thing
The
to do.
loud pipes is what vexes my wife.
Oh, yes. Well, I've never understood. Of course, I used to turn up, I wanted people to hear Supertramp at the stoplight, so I turned up the stereo.
You were cool.
But I didn't have the boom, boom, boom bass thing going, whatever that's all about. So you mentioned the Cats Park there, too. Let's talk about the big one, and that is responding to numerous requests for pothole repairs. Because that's the one, my 10th Street's being done right now. I'm very grateful for that. And I realize how much work is involved in doing this. But tell us about that, because everybody they want their street work done. And how do you handle that when people complain about that?
Well, and sometimes it's somebody calls me about a pothole or problem, but a lot of times, I'm just always doing errands, and sometimes it's in the second ward, sometimes it's not. And if I get one where it's like, geez, I
You feel it in your car, yeah.
Like and Andy Rye and his street team are fabulous. So I just texted Andy. I said, big one on such and such a street, between these blocks. And honest to gosh, in like 24 hours, it's filled up. So yeah, that part of it is just the street team needs to know about it.
Well, if Andy Ryan wanted to run for president, I think he'd get elected right now.
Right now. Although nobody wanted to give him up because he's so good.
I've never heard anybody say anything bad about Andy Ryan, that's for sure. Now, Dan, you got another news story?
Yeah, this one's for you, TD, because I know you go swimming at the...
I do, in the pool. And by the way, they broke ground at the pool. I was over there by Hopkins Park yesterday. They broke ground there.
Okay, so this isn't in DeKalb. DuPage County, Glen Ellen police are investigating an incident where 200 to 300 teenagers flocked to the pool, Park District Pool, July 5th, at around 5 p.m. The roving pack of teenagers entered the pool area without paying, igniting fireworks, smoking weed, and consuming alcohol. Park District officials had to close it early that day. One minor was charged with possession of illegal fireworks. So my question for you, TD, was there security there when you were swimming?
Yeah, but then there were a couple incidents where kids got in a fight. They got in a fight outside the pool area, but it started in the pool area, and then they were kicked out, and then they fought in the parking lot. It was very sad to see that, but the wilding is just really scary. I mean, you see that in downtown Chicago where the hundreds of kids get together and just start wilding like that. But to hear that the only repercussion was one person was charged, because Barb, right back in the day, you tell the parents, right? And then the parents would
take care of it. Yeah.
My wife tells a great story. Her son Eric was swimming in Hopkins Park. They jumped over the fire wire and went swimming. That's all they went swimming and swam back out. And he dropped his wallet. He left his wallet there. And the police came the next day. And here's Eric, who was a straight A student and everything, was hanging with the wrong group of people and got caught with the wallet there. But to hear that, like 300 kids like that, just wilding.
When you get social media, and then it's like, it's almost like, can you top this?
Right.
And so they're like, oh, we could do that here. And graduation pranks and this kind of,
very scary stuff.
It is.
Indeed.
It is.
All right, let's talk about something positive. Infinity Truck Sales holds a grand opening in DeKalb. And of course, we know how important it is to have business here in DeKalb. We talk about the big business area out there at Park 88, but talk about a little thing like this. Well, not little. Infinity Truck Sales is a pretty big deal.
It is a big deal. It is a big deal, like for sales tax, and even as farmers having, if you start looking, there's a lot of semis and they all have farm trucks. I mean, they're not, over the road moving vans. They are local farmers, and to have a truck dealership so close and for service and everything, it's fabulous.
It's really great for DeKalb, that is. And now, speaking of traffic, unfortunately, I have another sad story about a Hinckley motorist dies in a Sugar Grove crash, only 29 years old. Now, I used to drive a motorcycle, and I had an incident where I was in the right turn lane, and a little old lady, sweet lady, I'm sure, just merged right into me. I got right into the ditch. Fortunately, I was going about 10 miles an hour, and I swore then I'd never ride my motorcycle again because you can't trust the other people. And I don't know what exactly happened here, but very scary, motorcycle safety. It
is. And like you're never going to win against a car.
There you go.
A truck. You just won't.
All right, we're going to pause things for just a moment because we have a special guest. Dan, if you can get the door there for a second. I didn't know this because I used to interview Janine Holcomb every week talking about the Egyptian Theater. And you, foolishly, Barb, thought I didn't know that. So we have a special guest coming in right now who's going to visit with us. Tell us about what's going on at the Egyptian Theater and what was it like growing up having this lady as your mother. How about that? Janine Holcomb from the Egyptian Theater. Thanks for taking time, Janine. We really appreciate it.
It's been a long time.
Well, I was doing research for the interview with Barb, and I didn't realize that Barb Larson was your mom. And tell us.
Kept secret in town.
Now, are you the one who jumped out of the airplane, or was that your sister?
That was me.
Oh, you did?
That was me, despite not wanting to climb any ladder at the Egyptian Theater. Alex has a very hard time understanding that. He's like, you won't change the light bulb, but you'll jump on an airplane? I'm like, it's semi-complicated, woman, Alex.
Well, I was so impressed, and it turns out you were behind this, Janine, is that when your mom ran the second time, or was this the first time that she did this? Where you put together a list of everything she accomplished while she was in office, as opposed to just generalizing about things.
I mean, that was what was so exciting, to toot her horn, is so when she was first running, obviously, the love for DeKalb and wanting to stay here, start a family here, really invest a lot of her time and efforts here. But then the second time was like, we really get to talk about what you've done here, to talk about some of the action items that you've taken, the things that have been your passion projects, the things that have spoken to you. I know she loves to dig into the financials. And that's it. I mean, when you get someone who's so detail oriented and who cares so much about our community, it wasn't a hard list to put together, and obviously I'm incredibly biased, but it's been really exciting to see everyone else witness how great your mom is.
Now, nature versus nurture. I was reading here in this biography of Norman Barb that, quote, Barb was a city girl who, after graduating Northern Illinois, learned about farming quickly at the local FSC facility. How about you? Did you ever think about being a farmer back in there?
So I have a degree in marketing communications, but my minor is in crop and soil science.
Is that right?
It really is. So I went down to the University of Illinois, studied crop and soil science, but communications and marketing just speaks to my soul, and I've always been a fine arts baby. But no, I grew up detasseling corn, pollinating corn. I was a crop scout in college, and it's so exciting to see, two parents that have very different perspectives of growing up with that. Mom worked at the diner and had that different type of experience in high school, and dad was like, well, you're out dirty. And so I ended up with that. But it's been, again, I think it speaks to the DeKalb experience of Alex always joked that it's urban. It's rural urban. It's like you can be in Chicago in 90 minutes, but you could be out in the middle of nowhere in 5. And that's what's really, I like this area.
So what did you do? Did you do some stuff on the farm? Did you?
Yeah, I've painted fences, done all different types of, delivered dinners, mostly rode in combines and took a lot of good naps.
You drove a tractor.
Yeah, I did drive a tractor. I did for like one season. Gosh, goodness gracious. But no, it's truly, we joke a family farm and keeping the family first and family farm. There was just 2 weeks ago, I went and drove up to Rockford to pick up my dad because he had to drive a truck up to Peterbilt. So, it's one of those things where you're just, again, the family gets involved, and we know that there's things that have to get done at certain times because crops don't wait. And bringing that perspective to the Egyptian even, because there'd be Alex would be like, what do we do, a country show in October? I'm like, every farmer is going to be in the fields. Every farmer. And he's like, really? I would never have thought that. So just those different perspectives.
You heard about the farmer who couldn't make it to the awards banquet.
Oh, go on.
He was outstanding in his field. Here all week.
Very good.
And we got to mention your sister Renee. Now, Renee also chose not to be a farmer, right?
Yes, no, she married one, so he's a good pick. She is fabulous with her hands. She's a massage therapist who does wonderful work. She is so caring, so giving. I have these personality tests that I took after the DeKalb Chamber Leadership Academy, and she is a strong blue, which is she is so thinking of others. And then chose the perfect life partner with John, who now works full time at the farm. So my dad is over the moon because he has a son-in-law there, and I couldn't be happier to have him as a brother-in-law. Well,
and Barb, you didn't do bad marrying a Norm, and I understand that Norm now is helping out at the Egyptian Theater. Is that right?
Yeah. We when she first took the job, it was like, what are we doing? It's like, we got to be free this weekend because they might need people there. So we did a lot of
voluntelling.
And it was great. It was, like I said, the places your children take you is so fabulous if you just go for the ride. So we're so proud to be part of the extended Egyptian family.
I love it too. And before we let you go, we're so blessed to. I've been in DeKalb about 25 years, and I was shocked to find out that the Egyptian almost went away in the 70s, right? And to keep it going like that. And then, of course, as I drove by it yesterday, Janine, I was thinking about how in the summer you used to have to shut down, right? Because of no air conditioning.
I wouldn't be wearing these nice trousers if it was the past summer. Yeah, we'd show up. Oh gosh, it was so hot. We'd have dance recitals in June, and people thought we were just cheap and rude and not turning on the AC. And you're like, no, my friend, we would totally have it on if we had it.
There is none.
It is none. It has been transformative. Truly, I can't say how transformative it has been, just from not only the air conditioning for these past weeks when it's been so hot, we're not having to worry about having to cancel programming. But
I learned the term swamp cooler thanks to you.
Oh, yeah.
I never knew what a swamp cooler was.
Oh my gosh, the things you learn when you work in an old building. But yeah, it's been just fantastic to see the community come out, continue to support us through the summer, and have such a staff that's growing that now you guys don't get voluntold very much anymore. We have a pretty strong staff, and it's just been so exciting to see that.
And ironically, one of the most proudest things you are the bathrooms, right?
I know. I literally had a board member finally tell me, you have to stop sharing pictures of the bathrooms. I'm like, I never will.
No,
I never will. They're so pretty.
Before I let you go, hey, brag on this one a little bit, will you? Talk about this.
What can you say about your firstborn? And truth be told, the reason I'm sitting here.
Oh, really?
Because of this one.
She can't see running, did she?
Well, so she comes to me like that October before you'd have to run, and she's going on and on. Oh, we don't really have anybody that's really strong for the second ward. But
that's after Bill Finucane retired, right?
Yeah, Bill was leaving,
okay.
And so I was just like, oh, it's too bad your dad's still going to be farming. She goes, well, because I was actually thinking of you because the reason I picked
Oh,
my
you thought you meant Norm, okay.
Right. And the reason I fell in love with my husband is he's so kind and he wants to make everyone happy, which is very hard in this position. You have to look at the whole picture and realize some people won't be happy, but it's best for everybody. So I said,
The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. That's
Right,
Star
right.
Trek, Mr. Spock.
So anyway, she kept after me, and I was just like, so I was like, okay, I'll go for it. And so you'll be my committee
Campaign
and
manager.
everything, and which she did wonderfully, and has been so, because that was back in COVID. And we were like in the office. She was running things like hidden behind the desk, and no, very supportive. So, so yeah, she is a very talented and smart woman, and I'm very pleased to have her in my family.
Well, we're all the better for it. And Janine, hopefully you can be a regular visitor on this show, and maybe we'll work out some deals with the Egyptian. What's coming up? What's coming up at the
So we've
Egyptian?
got some stuff coming up. We've got a ghost tour that, as you know, it's already sold out. Bless
Of course.
upon.
Oh,
But we'll
one of these days I'm going to get that ghost tour. I know.
No, and you tell me anytime. We'll have the CCT, so that's Children's Community Theater Summer Camp is coming up. So
Love
that's
that.
so key to our mission. We love it, junior and senior. Then we kick off our touring shows in August. We'll have Piano and Generations at the start. We'll have a Yacht Rock tribute with Elliot Lurie, the lead singer of The Looking Glass, singer of Brandy, You're a Fine Girl, my mom's
we
favorite
just listened,
song.
1973. I'm just looking at that. Yes.
And then in August, again, on the 13th, we will have Scary Vor, a great Celtic rock band similar to Gaelic Storm. They're stopping with us before they head to Milwaukee for Irish Fest.
Oh,
And
very
then we'll
good.
have a ton of more shows being announced. So if you look at our schedule now and go, it's slim. It is, but we have stuff cooking in the kitchen. And subscribe now, EgyptianTheater.org.
EgyptianTheater.org.
And you can get on our newsletter and be the first to know.
And weddings and Dan's anniversary. Dan, you're going to have a big ceremony for your wedding. You're going to do it there at the Egyptian Theater, right? No.
You let us know.
Next year.
Top of the Luna tonight.
All right.
Congratulations.
Well, Janine, thank you so much for stopping by. And thanks for bringing us this lady. We appreciate it.
Yeah, she's a good friend.
All right. All right, we got a couple more things to get to, so we're going to ask you
I'll get you
to depart.
kicked out.
And we thank you so much for taking time to visit with us, too. And again, what a blessing we have, the Egyptian
Yes.
Theater, and then a lady like this, letting people know about it.
I know.
It's great.
I know.
Now-
And the amount of hours that those people put in of their own time in evenings and stuff to support our schools, all of our non-for-profits, it's amazing how much they give of themselves.
And our community calendar, we want to know people, there's a senior health fair coming up this Monday. That's going to be at the DeKalb High School. And that's great to have that, too. And now I'm turning 65, being a senior now. It's great that I'm realizing all the things we have for the seniors in DeKalb.
We do. Yep, that's great.
And our friends at Elder Care Services are a sponsor of this program. And Tara Russo and the gang over there do such a fantastic job.
You have a question, they know the answer.
Well, that's what they do. See, they don't
do.
shove it off to another agency.
Nope.
They find out what the answer is. And Barb, you're, I'm sure, a Barb booster. We're very much behind the Barbs. We're going to have Peter Golf on here in the next couple of weeks and trying to keep, the Barb Boosters has disbanded. And unfortunately, they were such a successful group.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard to follow that. But I know there's enough people that will pick up the tag. But we're not getting a lot of volunteers for that.
It's hard when, so many people, you've got both parents, either if you are lucky to have both parents, they're both working, or a single parent, and oftentimes they're working two jobs. There's no extra time to be a booster, even though you want to support your kids. You got to get food on the table.
Yeah, whenever I ask Dan what he's doing, well, I got to take the kid to do this one. I got to take the other kid. You got the 6 little ones at home
Yeah,
there. And so,
yeah.
so Dan, that's a problem, but a blessing at the same time too, right?
I'm having a ball. It's just a busy household.
Yeah, I work over the Park District now at Hayes Gym, and I see that Dan goes there with the kids with the karate. They take the karate classes too. So I want to give a shout out to the Park District because a great job they did with the 4th of July. I was parking cars. I was doing that thing where you park the cars, but they really do a fan. And to watch that whole thing unfold, I got to be there from the beginning, and the accumulation with the fireworks.
It's a great day
It really is.
for a small town.
Really something special. Dan, do you got another story?
Just that a fire broke out on the exterior of a home at Magnolia Street Saturday in DeKalb, causing $39,000 in damages. The fire department responded at 8:45 p.m., where they discovered flames visible from the side of the building. They doused it within 10 minutes. It had spread to the attic. Nobody was hurt, and the cause of the fire was determined to be accidental.
When
The nature of the fire was accidental. The cause, they're still pinpointing.
I'm always amazed at the amount of damages, that when they have the total of money amount of damages. So, but we just had both fire chiefs here in the podcast. And boy, we'll talk a little bit about Chief Thomas, what you know about him, and Chief Lowenson.
He's retiring
I saw that you said there's a quote of you saying that we were so blessed to have him here.
We were. He's, even before he was chief, he took me around when I was first alderwoman, and he had already was thinking about Station House 4 and where he'd put it. He was already in that chief mode and just knew every firefighter, who their wife was, what their kids were. He is just like the perfect chief. We're going to miss him. Luke's going to do great,
Yeah.
but it's going to be big shoes. It's big shoes to fill.
Yeah, we had Bill Nicholas here talking about that and the finances and things, and he said that there can't be a silver standard. You have a gold standard, and but when it comes to something like this, there can't be a silver standard because we're talking about people's lives, right?
That's right. And every minute counts. I mean, the difference of 1 minute, what your insurance is based on, what your response time is from a.
Oh, is it? Okay. Wow, I didn't know that.
Yep. So people on the south side, check with your insurance people, because now that you have a Station House 4, you should have lower house rates.
All right, very good.
Well, that's.
Did you know that? I didn't know that.
I live on the south side.
Oh, yeah. I know.
Check it out.
You should check that out.
Yeah.
Now, as part of the show, we used to do, of course, in the morning show, we do obituaries, and I like to go through. I was telling Dan that you reach a certain age where you read the obituaries in the newspaper. I have become that person, but I've also become fascinated when you try to encapsulate somebody's life in a couple of paragraphs, and you realize, I don't know if you knew Bessie Anderson. Bessie Anderson we just lost, and Bessie was an amazing lady. Bessie was instrumental in the growth of St. Mary's Church and School. She was part of the inaugural planning committee of the annual auction and rummage sale that allowed dioceses to keep the school open and became the largest fundraiser for many years. She was a lay minister. She worked with countless couples, preparing them for marriage and children's baptism. She administered monthly special luncheons to offer fellowship and satisfying meals to the congregation. She also helped many parishioners with the grieving process and the funeral planning and served the homeless in DeKalb.
Wow.
So not a bad little resume there.
No. A lot of people she helped throughout her life.
Yeah, and I bet a lot of people don't even know that. You know, what you realize. I find that when I talk to World War II veterans, that we talked to one over there at Barb City Manor, and he was on a plane where the bomb got stuck in the chute wouldn't open, the bottom of the plane wouldn't open. So he's down there standing on the bomb, pounding with his foot, getting the code, making sure he doesn't fall through there.
Sure.
And that was just one little story. And he never told anybody that. He told us when he just this little thing that we kind of dragged out of him, but amazing people. That's why they have the greatest generation. And then Rick Pivko, do you know Rick Pivko by chance? Devoted husband, father, grandfather, and a veteran. Lived his life by innovation, service, and deep love for his family and community. He was involved in the children's pursuits, a DeKalb County swim team. For 2 decades, he supported them, setting up a cheering section to meet for the guiding young athletes. You know, I've never been to a swim meet, too, but I always wonder if those athletes don't get the support and the applause and stuff. But he was instrumental in making that happen for 20 years.
And what's really cool, isn't that DeKalb County? So it's like
Right, DeKalb Sycamore.
It is. It's one of the few teams that are combined, which I think is very cool.
Yeah, that is very cool. So we just want to acknowledge him and, of course, his service to the military as well. But amazing, some things what people have done, too.
Exactly.
Dan, you got one other thing, and then we'll get to the news quiz here, too.
I've read all my stories.
Okay.
Actually.
I wanted to mention the birthdays, too. We have Ethan Franklin's birthday's coming up on the 26th. We had Sailor Wicker. We mentioned that last week. I love that name, Sailor. I
know.
And then Hallie Emmett and Jackson with an X, Jackson McFitters, will have his birthday on the 21st. Celebrity birthdays next week. Harrison Ford is 83, and Arlo Guthrie is 78. Nikola Tesla would have had a birthday as well. Now, my son worked for him for a while, and then he had Tesla stock, and then he sold it to pay off his student loans. And then, of course, the stock skyrocketed. And then, of course, his plane or the rocket blew up, and then this rocket went back down.
So worked for Musk.
Yes.
Not Nikolai.
No, he did not work. He did not work for Tesla. No. But no, that's funny. I mean, that ups and downs there too. And then let's just mention a couple more things that you accomplished. Well, what's your proudest thing that you've accomplished, Barb, in the second ward?
I guess to me, it's not about the second word, it's about DeKalb,
Okay.
about where we're moving ahead. And that I think, we've made good choices about, we've limited the number of gambling and like some of these, like to bring a dispensary, but to have it regulated. So I want us to have a safe and kind of well-balanced DeKalb. And I think we're getting to that. And like I said, do we have more places to go with Annie Glidden North? Absolutely, but it's heading in the right direction. And Janine went to U of I, and my other daughter went to U of I, Iowa. And I still get notices from their police departments, and guess what they have? Shots fired. they have the same thing. So, we just have to keep it under control. I think it's not so much indicative of DeKalb. I think it's indicative of our society in general, that if I have problems with you, I'm pulling a gun. I'm not going to throw a fist. I'm not going to pull a knife. Everything goes right to gun.
Right.
And that's everywhere, which is unfortunate.
But you mentioned the momentum. We had Justin Carlson here a couple of weeks ago, and he talked about that momentum, and he said that we got to keep it going, and we do have some great momentum. I mean, just look at the development out there with the park there. But then I think we're up to 102 housing starts in the last 3 years.
That's a big deal.
That's a big deal, isn't it?
Yeah.
Boy.
Because Janine used to work for the sanitary district, and within the last 10 years, 1 year, we had one new house. One.
Wow.
In all of DeKalb. So that's crazy.
That is.
Yes. So we're everything's moving in the right direction, but you know how momentum, it can turn around in a heartbeat. So you want to keep it moving.
Right. All right. Very good. Well put. All right, Dan, we always like to do a news quiz. And of course, the winner of this, well, are you going to ask me then, aren't you?
Yes. What is the winner going to score today?
The T-Bone is the name, by the way.
T-Bone.
Well, they're going to win. We're actually doubling it up because we're going to get some new prizes. But right now, we just have our wonderful friend John Finn at Pizza Villa. So we're going to give you two gift certificates to Pizza Villa when you play the radio news quiz radio program.
So a peace and walk.
I'm sorry, the podcast.
A peace
program.
walk rally will occur Friday night. That's July 11th. To respond to what issue in DeKalb?
All right. If you know the answer to that, contact me, TD Ryan at tdryan2001 at yahoo.com. tdryan2001 at yahoo.com. If you contact me, we'll arrange for you to win 2 gift certificates to Pizza Villa. And I want to thank John Finn and the Pizza Villa for supporting us and all our sponsors. It's been wonderful. And Barb, big thanks to you. This has been wonderful. I can see how you got elected, my dear, if I may say that, because Mike Embry's a good friend of mine. But when I see your whole package together, and your answers were just fantastic, because we should point out, we don't tell people what we're going to talk about, and Barb had no idea what we're going to talk about, and you handled things wonderfully, so thank you for your time today.
Well, thank you, and it was great to have my daughter here with me too, so thank you.
I'm glad we were able to surprise you like that. She didn't let the cat out of the bag.
I just talked to her as I pulled in. So yeah, she was very good at keeping it mum.
I love it. And Dan, again, we appreciate you getting the news for us, gathering as you do, my friend, so you keep up the great work, will you please, and take care of that wonderful family, and enjoy your night at Tapalolona.
Thank you. Yeah, 15 years.
All right.
Which is not nearly as many as you. But,
but they said it couldn't be done, but that's all right.
Thank you.
That's News Podcast number 6 with Second Ward Alderwoman Barb Larson, and you heard it all live right here from the DeKalb Library.
Kitty Ryan Unleashed is brought to you by Scott Diamond, your State Farm Insurance Agent, Pizza Villa in DeKalb, Elder Care Services of DeKalb County, The Junction Eating Place in DeKalb, and my insurance guy, Mike DeVito in Sycamore.